Man, well, look at this. Look at this right here, bud. These two popcorn Pop-Tart farts. Well, they're rich, though. I don't even lie. Well, these dudes, they paid out the wazoo. I'm talking about they paid. So Jake and Logan Paul, they're gonna do MMA. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Are they gonna be highly successful in MMA? Probably not. Okay, it's not the same as boxing. However, this is gonna be a competition war, a bidding war for their services. Okay, you got to think about it. You know, has boxing benefited from the Paul brothers being in boxing? The answer is yeah, especially Jake Paul. Whether you like Jake Paul or you don't like him, I mean, the fact of the matter is that he's spreading a lot of, like, he's giving fighters opportunities. I mean, fighters are getting paid being on this guy's undercard. They're getting paid. You even got female fighters like Amanda Serrano. You know, she said that's the biggest pay they ever had, fighting on the Jake Paul undercard. Like she said. So Jake Paul typically is bringing the income. You know, he's bringing in the income to support him being in boxing. And, of course, people are talking about it. And also, too, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, fanboys. Jake Paul and Logan Paul, they're bringing a whole type of fan base. These guys got millions of followers on YouTube. So they're bringing those YouTube followers over to boxing. So now boxing is getting a whole new fan base, okay? Fighters that people normally don't know about, these fighters are now becoming, you know, recognized. And, you know, you have to, you be stupid to say that, you know, they're bad for boxing. I don't think they're bad for boxing. I think they're great for boxing. And I think they'll be great for MMA. MMA is different from boxing, okay? I'm not saying that it's easier, you know, to learn how to box, but boxing, you're limited. You can only use your hands. Now, there are different ways to use your hands. You know, you got different styles, different techniques. You got different ways to, you know, avoid getting hit. Like, you have all these different ways and styles to use your hands, but you're only using your hands. In MMA, a person can beat you in several ways. A person can defeat you several different ways. And, you know, MMA is no joke. Okay, these guys, if they come in and they come in MMA light. Now, from what I understand, Logan was a wrestler. He's a decent wrestler in high school. So Logan Paul may have some success. Jake Paul, from what I understand, you know, wasn't a wrestler. You know, Jake Paul, I mean, he wasn't a wrestler. I don't know his other sports, but I know Jake Paul don't have any wrestling experience. But I know Logan Paul has lots of wrestling experience. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. When I saw Logan Paul on the WWE, like when I saw him doing that, I mean, Logan Paul looked like he belonged there. Like, Logan Paul looked like a natural in the WWE. Like, seriously. These are talented people. They're very talented and they're entertaining. They're very talented. Like, legit, Logan Paul can stop doing all the stuff he's doing now and go be right in the WWE. But also, Logan Paul, you can tell that he's got a wrestling base. So Logan Paul will probably have some success in MMA. He'll probably have a little bit if he can wrestle. But if he get in there with these guys that, you know, that's going to tear him up, it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a grind for these guys. Like, they're going to have to really do some work. And then, you know, when they get in there with those jiu-jitsu black belts or these, you know, people that's high in the grappling area, these sambo masters, they get in there with these guys, they're going to have issues. But here's the thing, though. The UFC, Logan and Jake Paul, they're not going to sit back and sign a stupid UFC contract. They ain't going to do it. If they do, the contract is going to be under their own terms. Like, they're not going to sign one of those contracts. Because Jake Paul, he's come out about those contracts, and he's like, yo, these contracts are no good. The fighters don't make money off these contracts, and the fighters are not getting what they're worth. You know, if Jake Paul does it, you know, he's going to get exactly what he's worth. Now, you know, with the comments that Jake Paul has said about Dana White, I don't know, you guys think Dana White would sign him? I think Dana White wouldn't care as long as it's making money. Like, Dana White only care about making money. Okay, that's Dana White's MO. He only cares about the money. He cares directly and purely about that money. So he would put aside what he feels about Jake Paul to get that money off of him. But Jake Paul, he's not going to sign a UFC contract. He ain't going to do that. And he's not going to sign that deal where you can only do, you know, when you're in the UFC, that's it. You can't have any outside ventures. You can't, you know, go and box. You can't do, he's not going to do that, okay? So that leads to PFL and Bellator. And I'm going to tell you something, okay? If Bellator is smart, they'll get these guys there. Because Bellator need it. Bellator need it. They need to do whatever they got to do to get these guys to do MMA. If not, the PFL, they're going to scoop them up. And if the PFL scoop up the Paul brothers, their portfolio just increased. Okay? Wherever these guys go, they're going to bring attention to it. You better believe that if the Paul brothers go to the PFL, guess what? We're going to have a lot of PFL advocates. We're going to have some PFL fans. If the Paul brothers go to Bellator, guess what? See, this would be a smart business move by Scott Coker. Go ahead and take a loss trying to get these guys in. Go ahead, because these guys are going to bring in a hell of a lot more revenue than you pay out. But I don't know if Scott Coker is going to be that bright and really think on that level to try to get these guys there. I don't know. If Scott Coker does, I'll give Scott Coker all the props in the world. Scott Coker will get his flowers from me if he get these guys in there. But I see them going in there and getting hurt. I think Jake Paul will definitely get his ass whooped. I think Logan Paul will have a chance. I think Logan Paul will probably do well in MMA. He didn't do so well in boxing. I thought between the two, Jake Paul was a better boxer. I thought Jake Paul focused more on his craft in boxing. And, to be honest, Jake Paul isn't that bad of a boxer. He's not that bad of a boxer at all. Jake Paul got some hands. He's a little flat-footed, and if you ever get in there with a boxer that's got some mobility that can jab on him to death, he's going to be in trouble. But overall, for a guy that really hadn't boxed that long, I thought Jake Paul did satisfactory. But these guys are good for the sport. And two, Jake Paul has been an advocate for MMA fighter pay. He's been a real advocate. Seriously, he was talking about having his own MMA undercards or having his own MMA cards and getting these guys paid. Paying what they want. Could you imagine? Could you really imagine if Jake Paul, they got on an undercard, or if Jake Paul did a whole MMA bout and where they're able to pay these guys, really pay them what they worth? Oh man, he'd be all over Dana White helmet, all over his helmet. But that's neither here nor there. I think this is going to be good for MMA. I think the Paul brothers are going to be good. And many people would think, well, these guys are going to turn it into a little circus. I don't think so. I think these guys are going to go and they're going to dedicate themselves to try to get better. I think they're going to in over their head, just like Carissa Shields is. Okay, but do I think Carissa Shields bad for MMA? Nah, not really. I don't think Carissa Shields bad for MMA. I think that Carissa Shields, me personally, since she's such a dominant boxer, I think her doing MMA could jeopardize her boxing. Because, all it's going to take is somebody to put Carissa in a Kimura or, a really devastating armbar. Okay, that's it. Or, a triangle choke where they pull the arm through that guard. That's it. Carissa's arm could get wrecked. That's the only thing that's a drawback for Carissa Shields. But she's not bad for MMA. She's not bad for mixed martial arts. I mean, she's good for the sport. And Carissa is also bringing attention to the sport. But I think the Paul brothers, they're going to be in over their head. They are. Logan Paul, maybe not as much. But Jake, they're in over their head. And there's a lot of guys in MMA that have been waiting to get their hands on Jake Paul. There's a lot of guys. They have been legit wanting to teach this boy a lesson. I'm talking about get this boy and beat him down. This is what they've been wanting to do for the longest. So, I mean, go figure. Go figure. What, will it take? What will it take? Because, Jake Paul do a lot of talking. He do a lot of talking. He do a lot of trash talking. Okay, this man talks trash out the wazoo. And, it's a lot of these fighters, they upset, man. You got fighters chomping at the bit, hoping and praying that this guy gets in that octagon. You know how many amateur guys, they want to say, I submitted Jake Paul and shut him up? And it's an opportunity for somebody. It's a huge opportunity for somebody to actually go in there and really get what they want to get. It's an opportunity. It's an amazing opportunity for people to go out there and get something on Jake Paul. But I look at it, man, and I actually want to see where this is going to unfold. I want to see what this is really going to unfold. I want to see what these guys are going to do and how much popularity. And Jake Paul's even talking about starting his own MMA league. I don't know if Jake Paul got the bread for that right now, but he was talking about it. And usually what this guy, he's been saying that he's going to do. Do you know that most of the time it gets done with this guy? That's Jake Paul, y'all. But anyway, y'all give me your thoughts on this and tell me what you think.